Welcome to Newsline, your trusted source for global news, bringing clarity to the stories shaping our world. Syria witnesses an unprecedented shift as the Assad regime has fallen. Islamist militia Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, has declared Damascus free from Bashar al-Assad's control. Historic scenes are unfolding in Damascus as a statue of Bashar al-Assad's hardline father, Hafez, has been toppled. Few expected the uprising against the regime to occur now, let alone progress so quickly. Gunfire was heard in the city overnight, but by morning, people welcoming the rebels' arrival took to the streets to celebrate. Early on Sunday, HTS declared Damascus free from the tyrant Bashar al-Assad. In a broadcast from the state television studio, citizens and fighters were urged to protect property belonging to the Free Syrian State, AFP reports. In a rebel statement on Telegram, it was declared that the regime had fallen after 50 years of oppression. Axios's international correspondent, Barak Ravid, wrote on X, formerly Twitter, on Sunday morning that Bashar al-Assad is on his way to Moscow. Assad is reported to have left Damascus around midnight local time and flown to a Russian military base in Syria, according to Ravid, citing Israeli sources. From there, he was expected to continue to the Russian capital, but it remains unclear if he has left his homeland. The regime's Prime Minister, Mohammed al-Jalali, stated that he is ready to cooperate and hand over power, but only to a leadership chosen by the people. He claimed to be unaware of the whereabouts of al-Assad or the Minister of Defense. This seemed to be acknowledged by the rebels. For all military forces in the city of Damascus, it is strictly forbidden to approach public institutions, which will remain under the oversight of the former Prime Minister until they are officially handed over, announced HTS leader Ahmed al-Sharaa. Prisoners in the infamous Saidnaya prison north of Damascus have been freed during the advances, according to HTS. Bashar al-Assad and his regime have been accused of widespread torture and murder of opposition members in this military prison during the Syrian civil war. The Iran-backed Shia militia Hezbollah, a close ally of al-Assad's regime, has also withdrawn its forces from Damascus and Homs, AFP reports. They are reported to have been instructed to retreat to Lebanon and the Latakia region along the Syrian coast. Meanwhile, Israel has bolstered its military presence in border areas. The extremist group HTS, designated as a terrorist organization which has now entered Damascus, launched last week's surprise offensive that saw the fall of Aleppo and then several other major cities. On Sunday, HTS announced that its forces are also advancing west of the Euphrates River in the province of Deir al-Zor, Deir ez-Zor, in the east. The area was previously controlled by regime forces, while the eastern side of the river has been under the control of Kurdish-led forces. The global response to Syria's transformation is pouring in. President Biden and his team are closely monitoring the extraordinary events in Syria and remain in constant contact with regional partners, the White House said in a statement. We are committed to supporting stability and peace in the region while standing by the Syrian people during this critical juncture. The UN Special Envoy for Syria, Geir Pedersen, expressed cautious hope, according to AFP. He described the nearly 14-year-long Syrian civil war as a dark chapter that has left deep scars on the country and its people. Today, we cautiously look forward to the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter of peace, reconciliation, dignity, and inclusion for all Syrians, Pedersen said. He emphasized the importance of international cooperation in ensuring a smooth transition and rebuilding efforts that prioritize human rights and justice. Donald Trump, the incoming US president, also shared his thoughts on the matter via the platform Truth Social. Assad is gone. His protector Russia, led by Vladimir Putin, is no longer interested in defending him, Trump wrote. This marks the end of an era of brutality, but the challenges ahead in stabilizing Syria and the region are immense. Trump further added that the United States must play a decisive role in ensuring that extremist forces do not exploit the power vacuum left by the regime's collapse, calling for a firm and strategic response to safeguard peace and democracy. International reactions continue to pour in, with leaders and organizations around the world expressing both hope and concern over the rapidly changing situation in Syria. As Damascus begins a new chapter, the global community is bracing for the potential repercussions of this historic shift. South Korea's former Defense Minister Kim Yong-Hyun has reportedly been arrested following the short-lived state of emergency declared by the president earlier this week. The country's interior minister has announced his resignation. Lee Sang-min, the interior minister, stated that he is taking responsibility for his failure to serve the public and the president effectively in connection with the turmoil surrounding the state of emergency, reports the Jungang Ilbo newspaper, citing AFP. The former defense minister is accused of playing a significant role in the chaos that ensued after the abrupt declaration of the state of emergency, according to the Yonhap news agency. Kim, a former general who was appointed as minister in August, had previously apologized and taken responsibility for the unrest. After being removed from his position, Kim was barred from leaving the country on Thursday. During his arrest in the early hours of Sunday, prosecutors seized his mobile phone, according to officials. President Yoon Suk-yeol shocked his nation and the international community late on Tuesday when he declared a state of emergency, including martial law, citing opposition efforts that he claimed were paralyzing the government's work. However, he was forced to retract the declaration just 6 hours later, after 190 lawmakers quickly convened in Parliament and unanimously voted against it. Since then, pressure has mounted on the president to step down. Early on Saturday, Yoon apologized but stopped short of resigning. Later that day, he narrowly avoided impeachment in Parliament as his party members boycotted the vote. A new vote on the matter is reportedly unlikely before Wednesday. Meanwhile, leading figures within the ruling People Power Party (PPP) have pledged to push for the president's resignation in an orderly manner, according to Yonhap. Thank you for joining us on Newsline. Stay informed, stay empowered, and we'll see you next time.